officer with David Wedge Real Estate. I got started in real estate back in 2012, mostly out of a need after going through 2008 and watching a few personal people lose their homes. So I said, well, once I graduate and become a teacher, I said, I really want to get something that, if I lose my job, I won't lose my home. And I found 2 houses on one lot, and that kind of kicked off my passion for real estate. And I was a teacher up until 2017 and got my real estate license, and that kind of transitioned me out of being a teacher into full-time real estate, and just my passion grew even further, helping others buy and sell real estate and working on certain strategies and kind of complicated sales. So fast forward, we ended up finding an office in Manchester. My father and grandfather grew up, and that kind of brought us into the community, and been here ever since, and we plan on being here for the next 50 years.
So tell us a little bit more about your business. What do you do?
Yeah, so we have a residential commercial side, so whether that's selling a single family home, remodeling, and on the commercial side, so we focus on residential investments, land subdivisions, so really anything that is residential and commercial mixed use is our focus in Hartford and Talon counties.
Now, how did we get connected? Do you remember?
I think it was part of the Manchester Chamber of Commerce, so I'm a huge proponent of being in the community, giving back to the community, and being connected, and all the services that I use I try to be in and around Manchester, and I think we got connected to the chamber, and local business is done with basically who you know. So.
Yeah, and your company was so generous to donate to be able to enroll participants that are located in the towns of Tolland and Vernon. So if you know somebody that's in need in Tolland or Vernon, or would like to volunteer in Tolland or Vernon, Connecticut, they can sign up on our website due to your donation. So thank you so much for being community minded and recognizing that so many people need help, and we're trying to reach those folks that can help.
Well, personal projects coming up, so we do remodeling and some construction of real estate, so in and around Talon County, and one that we're really passionate about is a larger mixed-use development project in Manchester that will hopefully be our forever home. So we've got a lot of stuff and a lot of irons in the fire, as you call it, and we're super excited to be in Manchester and call it home for the next 50 years. So, yeah.
So this is your new location, or your temporary location. We should probably take a tour so you can show people that they could come in person and talk with you maybe about their needs.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's kind of what we do, is we always look at value add. I always having to have a great vision, whether it was as a teacher or even before being in the arts, and I could always see that end product. My dad was in auto body, so he kind of taught me that, is seeing an old wrecked car and kind of looking at it and not seeing what the body line was, but seeing where it could be. So for instance, this building was 2 commercial buildings and a duplex on one lot, and it was run down, so we were able to use the SBA 504 loan, which is a small business owner loan, and you can use the funds to purchase the building and renovate it. So this front office that we have for our real estate is about 1,300 square feet, and so we kind of made it a nice A-class office, and we did new trim, new flooring, all new LED lighting, built out a conference room, a small kitchen, and some more desks, and we have plenty of parking. And we also decorated the office with all Manchester art, Christopher Todd. So everything that you see is kind of a retro, old school. This one's from 1966, Perilous Fruit Stand. Made from 1972. And here's another piece from Chris Todd at the old Cheney Mills, 1923. So I actually met Chris at WeWork Manchester, which is an awesome, town of Manchester owns, supporting small businesses where you can rent a small office space and really have something affordable while you can grow into, building your business. after my father, David Wesley Hollister. Like I said, local roots. He grew up, kind of playing around real estate. My grandfather was in construction with D'Amato, who's from Manchester. So we have roots to Manchester that go back generations. That is davidwesleyrealestate.com. A family-run company. So myself and my mother working full-time. So we're looking to grow. So we're kind of getting the pieces in place to hopefully hire more people in the future. I have great clients that are either moving into Connecticut or moving out of Connecticut. So we'll either help them relocate inside the state, or if not, our brokerage has reach across the globe, so we can help them move to Utah or Florida or California, and we can navigate that, especially given where the market is. It could be really easy to be a seller and really hard to be a buyer, or it might balance out in the future. So on the residential side, that might be whether a parent passes away and they have some real estate, and you have 2 or 3 family members that don't really know how to navigate the sale. We're able to step in and offer our guidance and kind of help smooth that process and get exactly what they need for that situation. And on the commercial side, it might be a small business owner where someone's either renting a space and say, hey, I really want to buy real estate one day. I just don't know how. I don't know what the financing is. I don't know what the cost of ownership is. I don't know what I'm looking at in terms of structure, and okay, what is a remodel cost? Do you have any contractors, attorneys, lenders? So we kind of have all that in-house from working over the years, that we're like, hey, here's a list of exactly the people that we work with, and it's all people that we trust and know. And on the commercial side, it's kind of the same lines, where it's more focused on the business owner and maybe an investor, or it might be even an owner operator where they own a business and own the real estate, and they might be winding down their years of operation, and they also it gets a little bit more tricky when they're trying to sell a business and the real estate. So with our expertise, where we not only sell real estate, we also own it, so we can kind of put ourselves in their shoes. And again, whether it be finding a new buyer to able to line up the financing and line up the transition, that's kind of our area of expertise, is being creative. More than happy to have anybody come down to the office, grab a coffee, and talk real estate. Scott Hollister with David Wesley Real Estate, located at 443 Main Street in Manchester. We're right across the street from Mac Charities and the office buildings at the top of Main. And for more information, you can go to davidwesleyrealestate.com. That's David, D-A-V-I-D, Wesley, W-E-S-L-E-Y, realestate.com.
So today we are in Glastonbury with Sanam. So thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, so I'm Sanam Salata-Yerzik. I am the broker owner of New England Prestige Realty, which is based in Glastonbury, and we service the entire state. I've been in the business my entire life. I actually started in 1996, and so this is all that I know.
So what do you do here?
Yeah, so we help clients transition in and out of homes where it makes sense, right? So if a house is too big or too small, we just help them right size. So general real estate is what we specialize in.
So what are you seeing in the market today?
Yeah, so now the post-COVID market has been a very hot market. And it's funny because on the news you hear that everything is flying off the shelves, and most homes see multiple offers, but now we're kind of, I want to call it a little bit of a complex market, because there's so many moving parts, and it can be a little fast-paced for some people. It's still a very strong market, and with relations to the seller standpoint, I think we were speaking earlier, I had mentioned, in Glastonbury, now we're hovering around 30 homes for sale. And over the past month or so, it's been between like 25 and 35-ish. Inventory comes on the market and it gets scooped up. But in a healthy market, we would see like about 120 homes for sale. Glastonbury has a population of just under 35,000 people. And when I'm throwing numbers out, like maybe 30 homes are on the market, that starter price points to high-end luxury and everything in between. So there's not a lot of options for buyers when they're looking to buy. So if a seller is positioned well, they're able to kind of capture the best of what the market has, because it's all about supply and demand. And what we do is, with the senior population specifically, we work with them, because sometimes we'll get phone calls and people are really not looking to make a move for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, but they want to understand what the process is. What we found is a lot of the homes, like where we do have seniors, the homes are well maintained, but maybe from a cosmetic standpoint, they may look like it did when they bought the home. And, even though it has solid bones, if they're willing to maybe take a couple of extra steps to try to maximize their returns, we can help them with that. If they're not interested, because that can also be overwhelming, we can help them with that too. But basically, we come together, we're a team, and we strategize on, okay, if this is where you are now, and this is where you want to go, here are the next steps we're going to take. And part of that, believe it or not, is, if you've been in your home for 20 plus years, making a change is really hard. It's very emotional.
So what are some community activities you participate here in Glastonbury?
Yeah, so we're pretty involved with the community. We are proud members of the Connecticut River Valley Chamber. We typically host community events around Easter time. We have photos with the Easter Bunny. We used to actually put on big community Easter egg hunts. And, anything that we can get involved with our town to help give back, we're involved with it. So,
Awesome. So how do seniors or anyone get in touch with you?
Yeah. So you can call me, text me. Our website is newenglandprestigerealty.com. My phone number, I have a 203 number. I'm from the New Haven area originally, but it's at 203-627-7958. So I'm also working with a local attorney here in Glastonbury who specializes in elder law, estate planning, and real estate. So we're like the perfect match. And we're going to be working on an educational series that we're hoping to launch with the Senior Center, which is right across the street from my office.
Oh, so what will you be presenting on?
So we're going to be talking about estate planning, tax laws, things you might want to consider, things you definitely don't want to do, like switching your house to your child's name right before, if things are looking like they're going south, just things to kind of keep you out of trouble, keep you on the right path. And again, really the bottom line is we want to make the process easy for our clients and to help maximize their returns.
Now, what are the program in front of you?
Yeah, so I have a little flyer that I give to my seniors especially, and it's basically our 5-step seamless process. The first time we meet, it's literally just a consultation to kind of meet with them, get to know them, kind of understand where they are in the process. Most sellers will meet with multiple realtors, and that's a great thing because not everyone is the right match for them. And then we talk about getting organized. Again, I had mentioned earlier, some people might want to do some stuff. For example, if you have gleaming hardwood floors under green carpet, but the green carpet has served you well, I have connections where I might say it might make sense for us to rip out those carpets to showcase hardwood floors, because that's what consumers are looking for. But again, it's kind of getting organized, figuring out your level of tolerance, because again, I have clients that are like, Sanam, I don't want to lift a finger. I want this off of my shoulders, and that's it. And so my job is to make sure we don't stress them out, but also while looking out for their pocket. So getting organized. And then the third thing is to take inventory. So a lot of the senior population that we help with, they're typically downsizing. So when we're talking about maybe staging the property or not, we talk about what is it that you're going to need to take with you to your next destination. And the things that you don't need, we work with a number of different companies. Some people, they come and they have auctions, and they'll get rid of stuff for clients that don't need this stuff. And there's different programs where you can pay in advance, or you can pay with the proceeds. There's different programs, and we try to work with everybody at their need level. And then the fourth thing is obviously just preparing the home. So we, at New England Prestige Realty, we will come in again we'll do semi-staging, but then to market the home, right? So we do professional photography, we do professional videography, we promote it on all the social sites. But more importantly than everything that we do to kind of market it is the relationships that we make a priority to build with other realtors. Because when we receive offers, whether it's 1 or 10, or it doesn't even matter, I want to be able to come to my sellers and say, hey, listen, all these offers at surface level might look good, but here's my concerns with this, and here's the benefits of this, and together we help guide them to make a good decision. Working with the realtors on the other side of the table, most of my relationships, a lot of my friends are now realtors, because there's that professional, that level of professionalism where we know that by working together, we are going to get from here to here. You know, there's no ego. It's basically what is best for our client and how can we help them get there. So, and then basically just getting the home sold and helping them, again, transition into whatever their next location is going to be, right sizing them.
So can you give me an example of a recent client that you might have had that maybe had some challenges or not, or, you know, just some recent?
Yeah. You know, we recently had a closing where the listing was under a trust, right? And so typically when a listing is under a trust, you don't have to go through probate or anything like that. Moving is a big deal, right? There's so many moving parts of buyers coordinating their move-in. Maybe they've locked in their interest rate. Well, they have locked in their interest rate. The seller is coordinating their move. At the onset of the transaction, we learned through the attorneys, because some things are only discovered through the attorneys, we learned that, so the seller, one of the parties is still alive. Unfortunately, his wife had passed, and again, it was a trust. So I guess 20 or 30 years ago when they created trusts, like the next person in line was the lien holder or the bank, which that's not the way trusts are written in today's day and age. And so the trustee, basically representing her interests, was the bank. Not a big deal, house is under contract, the attorneys submit everything for the bank to sign off on everything, and it was gonna be a short turnaround, like a 3-week turnaround or something like that. And it had to get escalated up to their headquarters, and they responded with, oh, I'm sorry, the deal is too small, we're not gonna sign off on this. Yeah. So again, like me and the other realtor, we had a really great working relationships. Our attorneys had a great working relationship together. We all pulled together as a team. The paralegal on the seller side happened to know the probate judge, because the case had to then get taken to the probate judge, not to be seen, like we didn't need a hearing, but basically the new trustee, like the signer, had to be assigned, and that could have taken, if there were no connections in place, it could have taken 2 weeks to a month. Luckily, because we all worked together and pulled together, all with the same interest in mind, and the paralegal really came through on this one. She was able to get the attorney to sign off on it, and we delayed closing by maybe 2 days as opposed to weeks. And by doing that, it helped save the seller money and the buyer money, A, from a moving standpoint, B, from a rate lock standpoint from the buyer. Again, it's a domino effect, and having really good people in place that know how to field the buyers is what's gonna make or break the transaction, and just to help make it as seamless as possible. Because real estate is not just like you get from here to here and it's easy peasy. There's a lot of this. And so our jobs is to make you as the consumer not feel all of this. We field it all so that it's an easy process, or as easy as it can be for you. So that's just one example.
So where are you finding people are wanting to move to? A lot of your seniors, where are they?
So we've had some people move to the Carolinas. And actually, they've made it sound so appealing. I want to go to the Carolinas. And then we have some people that have moved into assisted living communities in and nearby the surrounding areas. So, and I've had some people downsize. The challenge with that right now, typically the senior population like to downsize into one-level living. And because inventory is so tight across the board, like those 2-bedroom ranches or 3-bedroom ranches where typically we wouldn't see everybody coming out of the woodworks to bid on, now my first time home buyers are bidding on it. So they're competing with the senior population, where again, when there was a lot of inventory, the buyers had more choices, and maybe the ranch wasn't the first go-to because they didn't need one floor living. Now people just need a house. So it's challenging, and that's when the active adult communities seem to be really helpful. But you know, the active adult condos and homes in those communities typically fly off the shelves too.
Are you hearing a lot of concerns from seniors that they're requesting some guidance from you?
They absolutely are, because again, you know, nobody should ever do this alone, whether it's myself or anybody else. I don't care, as long as they're good for you. You need to have a professional, especially in this environment. I mean, we've even worked with we've seen sellers that try to list on their own for sale by owner, because again, you hear on the media that homes are just flying off the shelf. So as a seller, and I can appreciate that, you know, if it's just gonna sell anyway, why do I need to hire somebody and pay them, you know, X%? It's a big number. But the reality is, like, a good seasoned agent who knows what they're doing is gonna help get you to the closing table. Because we've helped so many people who've also tried to do it on their own. And, you know, you need to have an attorney involved. And so then they're paying their attorney hourly. And when the deal falls apart or it gets egregious, like, emotions get involved. Like, so many things can happen where really, like, you should have some sort of mediator who knows what they're doing. And a good realtor is exactly what that's going to be for you. Again, whether it's me or anybody else, you should interview and see who fits your bill. Oftentimes, with our senior population, when they are looking to make a move, it's kind of a family affair. And so, you know, with regards to financial details and those things, I'm not at liberty to have those conversations with children of my clients unless my client puts it in writing that I'm able to have those open conversations. And usually everybody kind of works together nicely. You know, sometimes kids could be a little overzealous, but really I think it's all about education, right? So if they're prepared, if they're learning about what it is that we're doing to help guide them, and even from a pricing strategy, how to prep the home, price the home, get it sold. I think as a family, when everybody's involved and everybody's on the same page, it's just easier. So we welcome children of our seniors, because they can oftentimes be like a big advocate too. I was lucky enough to work with an amazing woman here in Glastonbury, and she was in her late 90s. And it was just so much fun working with her. We had stagers come in, clean out the house, stage the house, and I actually stayed in touch with her for a few years. She has since passed. But her son, who I adore, I actually never met him. He lives in Arizona, but he won't fly. But we talk on a semi-regular basis, and honestly, for me, the biggest thank you I can get is a referral. And the fact that they're just so supportive of me speaks to my heart, and I'm so appreciative. So I love all my clients. I let people know that in this industry, it's my own business, so I can pick and choose who I want to work with. And I love working with people who really need my help and see the value in my help. And most of my clients, I'm lucky enough to become their friends. So all I want to say is that if you have any questions about real estate in general, nothing is too big, nothing is too small where I can't help you. And if I don't have the right answers to point you in the right directions, I'm sure I have a connection that I can put you in touch with that can help. So again, anything in the real estate arena, I'm happy to help you with.